Welcome back. These days, some college athletes are cashing in and making millions of dollars thanks to NIL. But it wasn't that long ago when the Supreme Court delivered a 9-0 ruling on Alston v. NCAA, a decision that granted NIL rights to every college athlete a part of the NCAA. Now, as Ethan Tuttle reports, a former ASU swimmer and All-American sues the NCAA for media rights revenue.
College sports have been insanely popular and growing rapidly since the NCAA took over television broadcasts of its sporting events in the 1950s. Now the NCAA puts on one of, if not the most successful sporting events in the world, March Madness. In fiscal year 2023, the NCAA netted $873 million on the media rights deal for the event, a staggering number that continues to rise. But college athletes currently see $0 of that money. And surprisingly, it's one former college swimmer that is standing up to challenge the NCAA for a share of TV media revenue to be dispersed to college athletes from the past, present, and future. This is Grant House, the lead plaintiff in House v. NCAA, an antitrust lawsuit that seeks the right to grant college athletes a chunk of TV broadcast revenue from the NCAA. With multiple antitrust cases already stacked against the NCAA, some involving current and former college athletes, people are starting to take notice.
The NCAA's got a freight train coming down the tracks right at it. And it's called the House case, and it's being litigated by a lawyer named Jeffrey Kessler.
House versus the NCAA. This is a case that could totally upend college football as you know it.
I was first approached actually during 2020, the summer of COVID, by a teammate's mother. Kind of just wanted my background on my experience as an Olympic sport athlete. Turned into being the plaintiff and the representative, lead plaintiff of the case.
House, a student athletic advisory council member at the time, was initially met with criticism for speaking out against the NCAA.
There was a lot of pushback initially of like, why are you doing this? Like, you're wrong. Like, this is going to ruin college sports. And I just thought that was such a limited mindset. No one was asking like, why is this happening? How can we actually move forward? What is going to be the future of sports?
But soon things took a turn, thanks to numerous voices from prominent programs across the country coming to the forefront in support of House.
These big, powerful individuals, athletic directors, head coaches of Power 5, dominant Big Ten schools speaking out in favor of it, really made a huge shift towards how everyone looked at it.
The case was granted class action status back on November 3rd of 2023 by a Northern California District Court judge, a development that could put the NCAA on the hook for hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars.
But they're also looking for back pay on like broadcast revenue, which would be really tricky. So you're talking about, hundreds of millions of dollars potentially that the organization would get stuck with.
But that's not even the worst part of it for the NCAA, because federal antitrust cases come with a significant cost. And with thousands of potential class action clients in play, it could go from bad to worse in a hurry.
An entity that's violated the Sherman Act under antitrust law, you can be subject to treble damages, which means any damages that you find off the case, which are usually pretty large in antitrust cases, they get tripled.
Hernandez thinks that the NCAA will settle in all likelihood. If not, it could cause a number of problems for Division II and III schools that rely on money from the NCAA to keep their athletic programs afloat, including Division I Olympic sports.
Now, we need to force them to keep sports at the university through legislation and collective bargaining.
Former collegiate cross-country runner and SAC president Andrew Cooper has experience fighting for the rights of college athletes. In 2020, he was a key figure in a group that successfully persuaded the NCAA to grant eligibility relief to athletes that had their season cut short due to the pandemic. Now he's lobbying for TV revenue to be dispersed to college athletes, similar to how it is at the professional level.
Athletes should get their fair share. Let's just say it's half, because that is the model in professional sports. But then your sport should get the percentage that your sport delivers.
With a vastly smaller portion of viewership going to Olympic sports, Cooper says they can still be subsidized through university endowments, Olympic funding, and state funding as well. Cooper also believes the downfall of the NCAA is slowly nearing, with conference realignment happening more frequently, causing increased chaos in college athletics.
I think eventually the NCAA, the Power 5, now the Power 4, soon to be the Power 2, they will realize they will make a lot more money if they consolidate and merge. And it seems that the Power 2 is aware of that and is making an effort to break away from the NCAA.
So the NCAA needs to figure out an answer soon, or else we're going to have all these separate orientations and entities operating on their own.
House is hopeful his case will open the door for future college athletes.
You know, some of it's just allowing some student athletes to have some pride in what they're doing, what they are, and really opening that room of possibility and that door of possibilities and opportunity for them to step through and to capture if they want to.
We reached out to the NCAA for an interview regarding the House case, but they declined to comment. House versus NCAA is expected to go to court in January 2025. In Tempe, Ethan Tuttle, Cronkite News.
In the meantime, Grant House plans to compete at the Olympic trials to earn a spot in the 2024 Summer Olympic Games in Paris.